Hi everybody, it's Amy at Crafty Cat, and I'm here to start my boho journal. I've done a few things off camera, but I'll show you and explain what I've done. So the fabric comes from Textilesofindia on Etsy, and my mistake, she didn't have the bundles together. I forgot to tell her when I was going to do the video and all that, so there was some confusion there, but she does have the bundles ready to go now. So if you went over there and they weren't there, they're there now. So if you're interested in getting one of the bundles of the fabrics, you can go over there now and get it. So it's Textilesofindia, all one word. The only capital is the T. So I think that's it. And if you want to check her out on YouTube, she's Boho Bliss on YouTube. Okay. So I will show you what I have done. I was playing a little bit. This is a piece that we did together a couple days ago. So I just added, I took a snippet of the sari silk with some of the beading and sequins and things on it, and added that to the top of this with a little piece of fabric. She actually had the little Eiffel Tower charm hooked to that. Oh, and the other thing that I needed to tell you, I'm sorry, is that she may be able to put in like a couple pieces of vintage paper in with those, kind of like the things I got. You're not going to get the same ones because obviously she only has one of each, but there may be a few little things in with the fabric, but it won't be a whole packet like what I got. I think I remembered everything now. So I put that on there, and then on the front I just kind of did a little collage using a piece of the sari, a piece of lace, and then another piece of sari that I just kind of gathered, not a straight strip, but I curved it a little bit, and then I just stitched it there, and I stitched around the image. I stitched it to this fabric, and then I just glued it on top because I couldn't stitch through here or you would see it. And then I stitched all the way around. So that one is all ready to go in the journal. And that's really all I did, playing around with the fabric. I just wanted to play with it a little bit. And then I have a book cover, and this one measures 8.5, and then when it's closed, 8.5 by almost 6. It's like 5 3/4. So 8.5 by 5 3/4. And then I obviously took the guts out, and I glued with my fabric glue some batting, just a really thin batting. It was actually a Christmas batting from the dollar store. I just wanted a little bit of softness under here instead of the hard book cover, but you can do it how you want to do it. You could use a cereal box, a cracker box, all those type of things, and you can decide what, sorry, it goes this way, I guess, what dimensions you want. You don't have to do it exactly like this. I'm just kind of giving you ideas of what you can do with the fabrics or use, stuff for. And this is my first time too, so like we can go through it together. So I had a large piece of fabric like this. Let me see if I can find the other side now. And I cut it in half so that half would go on this side and half would go on this side. So it was all one piece, but it wasn't quite long enough to go all the way to the edge. It like made it to like there. So and there's something different that I want to do with it anyway. So I just cut it down the middle, and then it was completely lined on the inside. So I cut out a portion of the lining just because I didn't want that added thickness. So I chose this piece to be my cover because it's got the the beading there, and then this does have some beads here. And what I did is I figured I could take where it had the lining, there's like a natural corner there, and I'm not sure exactly which piece of the fabric you're going to get. I mean, obviously this is all one sari, so you'll get some that looks like this, but it's hard to tell like what piece you'll get. But even if it doesn't have the corner, you can fold over and miter the edges on that and bring it over that way. So I'm going to kind of do something like this, and then the extra piece I thought would make a nice pocket, and I may trim it a little bit or add some trim to it, which is probably going to be more likely the case. And then I'm going to put a piece of paper in here first. I took a piece of the Medieval Mirage and I backed it with just some cream papers. And I listed the packs that I'm using, or the kits that I'm using from Medieval Mirage. I also have Eclectic Essentials, I think is what that one's called. Eclectic Essence Volume 2. And so some of the pieces are from that. But I mean, if you take any of her kits and use them, they're going to look really pretty. So you don't have to have the exact same papers. And if you just want one of her kits or whatever, just use what you like. And then see, when the pocket comes over, it'll be like that, and then it'll be a little tuck spot. So that's kind of what we're going to work on today. So this may not be super exciting, but you know, it's kind of all a process of how we're going to do this. So I'm just using some fabric glue, and I'm going to start with these corners because I want to make sure I get those corners nice and tight, and I will pin them down before I worry about the other side. And I put this batting on just by taking a paintbrush and brushing the fabric glue all over, just so that I would get a nice stick on that, which I may go ahead and do with this as well. Bring it down just a little bit because that fabric does come down further. And that way you don't end up with like one spot where it's like kind of wet, or it's just more even if you use a brush. You don't have to, but it's just kind of a nicer finish, I think. So I'm going to really try to get it up in this corner of this fabric. And all the way up to the edge there. And try to get it like nice and straight. I did have my 1 cup of half-calf coffee today, so I've got the jitteries like I do. Imagine if I had espresso or something. So yeah, I'm really gonna try to get that corner right at the corner of the book. So I'm just gonna kind of pull on it and move it, and I'm probably gonna have to add a little more glue. And it's a little tricky because it's not attached on the other side, so just be careful that you don't pull it too far, that like your design is coming to the wrong side. If that made any sense, probably not, but like your sequins or whatever, you don't want them coming over onto the wrong side of the cover. So I'm using quite a bit of glue, and it doesn't matter if it shows a little bit right here because this is all going to get covered. I just want to make sure that it's going to stay and not slide out on us. And I'm sure there's probably an easier way to do this. This is just what I have come up with. I haven't seen, you know, this done or anything. This is all trial and error, but I like this with the batting under there. It just gives it a little bit more of a softness. Make sure it's tight here. So just try to look at it and see if you're getting kind of an even amount of fabric coming over the edge. And that corner's down. Put a little more glue in there. We're not going to be skimpy with this glue, even though it makes my hands blah. Okay. And we're probably just going to have to, you know, set it aside and let it dry. And I'm not going to worry about gluing down the front just yet because, like I said, I just want to make sure I get this corner good. So let me get this side. I think I'm going to go ahead and put one of these on here. I need the bigger one. Just want to make sure that stays where I want it. And before we move on, after we do this, I'm going to have to go wash my hands. I don't know why it bugs me so much. Not the other glues don't do that, it's just this type of glue. Again, we're going to go up in the corner. And I apologized if I caused confusion for people. Everybody probably, or the people that want to do it probably went over there and were like, there's no fabric, it's already gone, or whatever, you know. It's like, oh no, it's not. I didn't get there. It's always interesting because there's some seams in here, so it's just kind of a matter of playing with it. You just gotta be patient and try to, you know, get it as smooth as you can so you don't have any weird gaps and things. Try to make sure the seam's straight here. I was trying to get some things accomplished this weekend because we're going to be doing marching band next weekend. It'll be fun going with the kids. They're getting really good. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and put some clips on this. I'm going to go wash my hands and then I will come back and we can work on some other things. I just want to make sure this stays where I want it. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside and let it dry and go wash my hands. I'll be right back. Okay, hi, I'm back. So that is drying. And last night I went ahead and got the paper ready, the signatures. There's going to be 2 because that book isn't giant, so 2 is going to be enough for that one. I just took, this is Medieval Mirage that I printed on that nice paper. This paper. It's manila drawing paper. And you can get it on Amazon. So I printed on that. I cut it down to 8.5 by 11 so that these would, you know, fit on it the right way. These are a little bit smaller. Joff has them as, I think she said a Midori. I don't really know. I don't know that much about all the different kinds of journals. I just make the ones I make. And so anyway, that's what this size is for, but I kind of like it like this. And then I have a little piece of music paper. This is from my friend Allie, the Cockney Crafter. She gave it to me ages ago. I'm finally using it, Allie. And this paper is like from a encyclopedia or something like that. And it's actually Viking, but I just liked the look of the map there. And then this is tea-dyed paper. I have a piece of an old book. And so, you know, you're not going to have these exact things that I have, but you just use what you want. I'm just giving you ideas of kind of what you might have around. And then this is an old letter. I actually found this on New York Public Library. It's a medieval script kind of a thing, but I know that Rachel at Roxy Creations has her old letters that would work, and I did use a couple of those. So that I also printed on that manila drawing paper. And then there's graph paper and tea-dyed, and just a piece of the manila paper by itself. This is tea-dyed, like kitty paper. This is one of Rachel's letters on the manila paper, tea-dyed. And this is a piece of that pink masking paper that's like the thickness of craft masking paper that you can get on the roll at Home Depot. This is a piece of Medieval Mirage. I need to do that edge, I just realized, so why don't I do that right now before I forget. Yeah, I tore all the edges, that's the other thing, so that it'll kind of have that old book ruffly edge. And you can do that, or you can leave yours, you know, just straight, like like it would be, or you know, cut it with a cutter or whatever you want to do. You don't have to have the ripped edge if you don't like that look. I just think it kind of adds something to it. So that's Medieval Mirage. And then this is a piece of Rachel's straw paper, Rachel at Roxy Creation straw paper, but you could use craft paper, you could use, you know, other types of masking paper, because I know this is kind of hard to get. You can only get it in Italy. So just use what you have. Don't stress that you don't have all the exact things that I have. This is out of an art book that I had, and so there's like artwork on both sides, so I just thought that was kind of fun for the center and colorful, you know. So that's the first signature, and then the second one I did the same thing, and they're not going to have all the exact same pages. Like this is Rachel's letter here. This is a piece of dictionary page that Allie gave me. Thanks, Allie. Tea-dyed paper. This is more music paper that I tore down. You'll notice that some of these have washi here, and that's because they're vintage and they crack. And so if they do that, then I put the washi there to keep them from tearing in half entirely. Ledger. This is a piece of Medieval Mirage printed on the manila. Tea-dyed kitty paper. The pink paper again. This is another piece of that same Viking like dictionary page or whatever, and I haven't decided if I'm going to keep this picture. What I might do is take one of the pieces that I've made in other videos and kind of do something like this. I like the color, but I just don't know if that really goes. And there's another piece of old book page, and then this is Medieval Mirage, and tea-dyed straw paper, and then this is the piece that I have in the middle of this one, and this is cool on both sides. This is the Tree of Paradise, and then these are Madge Gill. It's just women is what it's called, so you can see all their little faces with like the different tapestries on them. That one's kind of cool. So that's what I did for my signatures. There are 16 pages each in each signature, and you can do anywhere, you know, 15, 20, whatever you think works, and if I find some other cool things I might add them to those. But that's what I have so far for signatures. And then we talked about these. I have these few pieces that we could add somewhere, and then other stuff, so let's look at it. And I know it's kind of weird to decorate them when they're out like this, but we have our cover drying, and I'm not sure. I might do a floating spine, or I might just, you know, sew it directly into the cover itself. And since I haven't decided that, I'm kind of thinking I'm just going to do some decorating and then decide how I want to do that. I think this is going to have to go on a, I think I want it in a belly band just as a tuck that goes in there. And I want to add some stuff to this. I just wanted to figure out how I wanted to do it. And I know this piece isn't long enough, but we've got other pieces that we can use underneath it. So I think that'll work on there. I was worried it wasn't going to fit because it's kind of tall, this piece. But I want it to be able to come out because both sides are decorated. So that's what I was thinking there. I do have this blue that could be the longer piece of the belly band. And I like that color on this straw paper. I think I'll just take this piece out. Set these aside. We don't need all that flopping around. But the only thing with this piece is it's kind of super floppy. So could use a piece of that. And this is what I cut off of the, yeah, I don't think that one's going to be long enough. I have some other tapestries too, and that's something that you might want to think about if you want to do that. I am using other tapestries, and you don't have to have the same ones. It's just, yeah, I think that will work if I just take a piece of it and it's upside down. But like something like this, and then this could go on here. It's got a hook on it still. I think I'll take that hook off. Alright. That could also be used as a closure, but I think I want to use it as a belly band. So let me see, where are my good scissors? Just use these ones. Got stuff spread everywhere again because I've been working on lots of projects. And I have another digi in my shop. It is old vintage posters from the late 1800s, early 1900s, and they're all sort of fall themed. So if you're looking for like some ephemera, go check those out because they're kind of fun. And I'll show them eventually, but I'm not going to do it right now. I'm trying to figure out which way I want this. Okay. Cut it from the bottom. My pinking shears are not great, but we're going to try this. I really need to get new ones because I've cut paper and everything with these, which I know is a big no-no, but they have such a fun edge. It's hard to resist. So I actually found this at a thrift store, just pieces of tapestry, so that might be someplace to check out. Or if you have a place where you know that they would have tapestry or something. Scraps. Just something you like, whatever that is. See the shaky hand thing? I didn't want to cut it too short. I'm just trying to get it straight. I don't want it to be crooked. And I'll probably go ahead and stitch this onto the page just to make sure that it's staying well. I just have to get it a little bit crooked. And I don't mind the fraying, but if that bothers you, you can put fray check on it, or whatever. Alright, so I'm going to stitch that and I will be right back. Okay, hi everybody, I'm back. Hallelujah, it works. I wasn't too sure. This got a little close to the edge, so I did, before I stitched the top, I put a little glue under here, so hopefully this is good because it is a little bit close to the edge, but with that big lump right there. It was a little tricky stitching this on. You're going to need a hefty needle if that's what you're doing. But you can also just glue these on. Use a fabric glue and just glue them on. That's not a problem at all. Then you won't have to worry about it. I just like to stitch those on. So that's going to kind of go like that is what I'm thinking. So I thought it would be fun to add some, like maybe some kind of ruffly or fabric tabs or something like that there along the edge. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to use all different ones and glue them on. And you guys have probably seen this if you've watched me for a while. If you're new to my channel, you may not have seen this, so it could be something new to you. So I just take snips of fabric, and it can be any fabric that you want to use. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but since we're using the sari silks and that's what I'm going to use. But I just take pieces, probably, I don't know, about like that. What is that? Just over an inch. And I start just like gluing them on here, and I'm just going to use my glue stick because I will stitch along there. And then when you're all done, they're all going to like, hang off the edge and stick out of the side of the book. So I think that's kind of fun, especially since we're doing this type of thing. And I think I have a few pieces. I was snipping stuff up, so I think I have a piece. I wonder if that might be kind of fun to use. thinking maybe either like that or like that. I think I like it like that. I'm going to go ahead and snip this little bit off. Except my sewing machine's not going to go through that. I just realized. Yeah, it probably will, because there's only these sequins here, and it did go through some other. They just don't love sequins, obviously. I mean, makes sense. So like that, and then maybe a piece of this with the fringe. I'm going to lift that up and actually put it under. See, the good part about doing it this way, sometimes I just do it at the sewing machine. I just add pieces and I just keep stitching them on. But the good part about doing it this way with the glue stick is that you can figure out how long and where you want them and how you want them overlapping and all that kind of stuff, because you can move them, pick up the glue kind of thing. Oh, that's the other side. Kind of do this sort of thing. Then some of the other pieces. I know I've got a snippet of that, so I'll use a piece of that. This is the one that I used on this cover, and I love the double colors, so I did flip over that edge just so you could see that color under there. And you know, eventually these may all fray, but I mean, I think it's just kind of a neat look. I think I like the yellow side. And I do want a piece of this blue, because we've got that blue in there and that goes well. Get these extra strings off. The pinking shears will help a little bit. It's kind of a tiny bit long. And they can be all little staggered, different sizes, that kind of thing. And we'll use the other piece of this. I just like that, and we'll do it that way instead. Oops. This is the problem when working with fabric. It ends up everywhere. Right, and then another little piece of lace might be good. So if you know, you're not going to have these exact things. I mean, like some of them you'll have, but just use other pieces of fabric or other pieces of lace that you have. And I got this on Amazon as well. So it's just a fringe crocheted lace. Let's see, what else do we want to use? A little peach, maybe? It's so pretty. And some of these are pieces that I made off camera too, so I'll tell you how I made this one, because I can't remember. I think I made that one on camera, but so I'm just taking all different bits. Let's see, I want something a little more, let's do one of these. With a little more design is what I was trying to say there. lot of these pieces are pieces that I've done using junk mail. I think I may have done this one on video, but I'll tell you about it just in case. It's hard for me to, oops, that goes this way. Silly. Okay, so this one was, yeah, I think I did this one on camera. This was the one I did the day I showed this manila paper. So, it's just a piece of junk mail that measures, 7 1/4 by like 10 1/4. And so then I just folded it in half and I added an envelope. So this is just a regular envelope. So I glued the tab of the envelope down when the junk mail was in its original state. And then I just covered everything. And you can add a little journaling card in there. And I added a little tab, you know, a textile tab there. And then it just goes like that. So I'm going to stitch down this and I'll be right back. Okay, hi, I'm back. So I stitched right down there. And then I think I want to add one of these pieces. Like on here, I just like this. So let's see, I need my favorite scissors. And I want to leave the edge, but I think I'm going to kind of go wavy around it. I don't want it to just be like, you know, straight cut out kind of thing. I love how transparent that is. It's really cool. I'm not sure how I'm going to glue it on, but there. I'm going to just kind of go in the middle here. Hope it doesn't look too gloppy. Fill that in all the way so that it looks, you know, like it's supposed to be that way. And it'll dry clear, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. Alright, there's that. Okay. And then on here, I'm not sure if I want anything else. I don't want to cover up the flower and stuff. I do like this, but I think it'll just make it too thick. That's another spot that you could write on as well, so I think I'll leave it like that. I did add a strip of that fabric here, and then that like that. So let's see, where's our pages? It'll be a lot easier once it's stitched into a binding. See, it'll go like that, and then those frills will hang out the side of the journal, which is fun. I'm going to take it out for now because I don't want the glue to come through and glue to this. So I'm going to let that dry. Let's see how our cover is doing. Yeah, it's still a little bit wet. So I think I'm going to stop there for today, and then we will go on another day. So I hope that you guys like this whole process series, and my first boho, so no guarantees. But if you like my videos, please like and subscribe, and we'll chat again next time. Thank you.